Hare Krishna Garanganishta. Hare Krishna Garanganishta.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. Jai.
Chile.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Let me see. Is there a way to pin? I don't know how to pin the video. Where do you pin it? Where do you pin it? Okay. Stop chat. Spotlight for everyone. That
sounds good.
spotlight. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Oh, Premanande.
That harmony in the last part, though.
Yeah. How you doing?
Good, good. Yeah, I actually just came for this, and then I have to rock and roll because I have to go make dinner. But I just came to do some kirtan.
Nice, nice.
You know,
How's Mrs. Baby?
she's good. She just turned 2 on January 27th,
Nice.
and so we went and did Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
That's what I did when I
She's
was
so
2,
cute.
so it was a nostalgia thing. But Chuck E.'s looks a lot different.
It looks different.
Well, I actually have pictures of me for my 2nd birthday, and he looks like completely different.
There's this really funny post, and it's about imagined histories, false memories. So this,
What, Mandela effect?
Yeah.
Yeah.
so this kid, he thought like he showed what the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, what they looked like in the 80s, like their animatronic faces. And he thought like one of those, he thought it was actually the turtles, like, and he thought like that guy showed up like the super realistic one from the movie, showed up at his birthday party. I think I saw a picture of it later. It's like total. It looks like one of the statues you see outside of McDonald's. It's like this really like basic. But it is in imagination. It was like animatronics, like everything moved. It looked. He thought it was a real Ninja Turtle, and it's so cool that he like took off from fighting crime to come to his birthday party.
Oh, I love that.
And then when he saw the picture, he was like, "My God, I can't believe I thought that was the real dude." It's like I always thought it's so cool. My parents like made some like serious like high tech.
The memories. It's really real for him. Yeah, I've been good. I've been working with Nityananda and coming over to the temple like every day and just trying to reassess my relationship with Krishna. Yeah.
Oh yeah. There a new program?
I think so, yeah. It's a couple programs he's working on, but I really appreciate his guidance. He's told me more than most, you know. And then of course I've learned a lot of things from Chandra.
No.
Yeah.
Did you want to stick around for a class? Or you got to go.
I have to go make dinner for Ollie and the baby.
Okay, yeah.
So I can't get out of that, you know. But
So we got
you're
Dana-
on Zoom.
Yeah, we got Dana K and Groganishta. Dana K, what state do you live in?
Well, right now I'm in Florida,
You're in Florida right now.
but I'm
Are
originally
you on
from
Facebook
Pennsylvania.
live streaming it too, or is it just Zoom?
I have it. I think it's on live on YouTube right now.
Live on YouTube?
Yeah.
Because I can definitely watch it.
Okay, yeah,
and
just
join in.
look up Nityananda Chandra's channel,
You can zoom in.
or you can click on I can share the Zoom.
I
link.
have not downloaded Zoom.
Yeah, it's on YouTube right now.
Nityananda
Chandra.
Chandra. Yeah, I just typed in Nityananda and that came up with a bunch of random stuff. There it is. All right.
All right, yeah, there we are. Live. Hey, you hear your voice.
Yep. All right, boys. I'm gonna go do my wifely duties, my
All
mommy
right.
duties, but
Mama duties.
mommy duties. But I'll be here with y'all on the YouTubes.
Okay.
All right, well, Haribol,
All right,
thanks for
I'll-
sharing a nice kirtan session.
Bye.
Nice. Hare Krishna, everybody from around the world.
Hare Krishna.
I've got to go too. So I go. See you
Bye
next
bye.
week.
Haribo, Hare Krishna.
I'll put these on outside. Thank you so much, Chandra.
Oh, thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Oh, it's a great pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, I'll be here maybe next week. The program I'm doing typically goes until 7, so I
Okay.
got out early today, but I'll try to make it next week.
All right. Cool.
Maybe I'll bring some folks.
I'll call you.
Yeah, let me know.
All right.
That was
I had
amazing.
Krishna's amazing. I was thinking of I had something on my mind. I was gonna I talked about the mirror. And then a verse came to my mind
All right.
about the chapter 2. We are covered by the different degrees of lust, just like the embryo is covered by the womb. The mirror is covered by dust, and smoke covers fire. So I was on it. I just thought. I said the mirror works. Yeah.
Right.
And so that's the 3 that's they refer to plant life, animal life, and human life.
Mm.
Yep.
I go.
You guys want to read that Bhagavad Gita?
Sure.
Yeah, well, I love it. I
My
love it.
spotlight. Let me grab my book. Any questions right now? Danica, any questions on your mind?
I don't think so.
Okay, let's see. Where is that verse? It's somewhere in the 2nd chapter. think it's in the second chapter. No, second. Let me look it up. Okay, I did earlier in the kirtan. I forgot to chant Prabhupada's pranam, so I'll chant that now while I look it up. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschachadeshatarine. Lord Chaitanya, Panchatattva Mantra. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. I'm going to grab one more book. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All right. So, Dana K, have you ever done something you're like, man, why did I do that?
Yeah.
Why did I do that? So every day it happens.
Yes.
Every day. And so Arjuna asked Krishna, why are we impelled to do papa? What is the words he uses? It's 36, text number 36. Param Chatri Purusha. Why do we do bad things? You know, as if pushed by some force, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force. Why does that happen? So Krishna says, Shri Bhagavan Vacha Kama Isha Krodha Isha Rajaguna Samudbhava Mahashano Mahapatma Vidhinam Iha Varinam. So it's what is called kama, lust or desire. So we have these, we're involved in the three modes of nature. So three mode of rajas. It says Rajaguna Samudbhava, born of the Rajaguna. And then also lust, it also turns into a tamaguna effect, which is wrath, because wrath leads to like some kind of destructive element. And so this is what Krishna calls as the all-devouring enemy of this material world. Where we think this person's my enemy, that person's my enemy, but our own desires are our own enemies. And how many desires do we have? Grangalila, Granganishta. You have like 4 desires, isn't it? How many desires do you have? Maybe 2, maybe 1, just Krishna.
No, it's hard, but lately my comprehension of this is that I can't stop desire because I'm a neophyte devotee, right? So what I can do is transform this to think, okay, I still desire this, but now I'll put it into work for Krishna.
Oh,
Because
yes.
I can't stop it. I can't stop thinking of things, right? So I thought, okay, since I can't, completely erase those desires, I still will feel that I want them and that I want to fulfill them, but now with a purpose to help devotees, and so on and so on, right? So I changed a little bit the, the purpose. Before was, oh, okay, I want to enjoy, I want to have this for happen, right? Like an ego based desire. And then I was like, no, that's the wrong mindset. So I want it now for helping Krishna devotees. And
Nice. Very nice. So they once gave a man an indestructible pen. A pen cannot be destroyed. And they gave him the ocean as his ink. And they gave him the sky as his canvas. And they said, write out your desires. The ocean dried up, ran out of sky, and the pen broke. So it's an incessant, actually the desire is not even our own desire, is that we grab onto the desire and identify with it. Material nature throws a desire at us, and we're like, that's my desire. But it's compared to like grabbing on a hot piece of metal. You grab onto it, and it burns you. It doesn't actually satisfy, but it burns. And so it creates moha, it creates a sense of illusion. And so Krishna describes in the next verse, he says, Tu me avitrite bhanir yatadharsho malena cha yato bhalena vrito garbas tatatena dam avritam. Dhuma means smoke. So as smoke is covered by fire, by the embryo is covered by the womb, or by mirror is covered by dust, or the embryo is covered by the womb, the living entity is similarly covered by different degrees of this desire. And it's illusion causing desire. So what's the analogy here is that if you have the embryo in the womb, let's see what Burijan Prabhu, he has this Bhagavad Gita study guide. Let me see. Chapter 3. This is text 30, text 38 right now we're on. This is the end of chapter 3. That was the end of chapter 2. That was wrong. So fire, can you use fire if it still if it has smoke? Is it still warm?
Yeah.
Still warm.
yeah,
Probably still can see the light too. Not really. So the light and heat may be usable. But the mirror covered by dust, it means you can't really see, you can't really use it. You get like you can't really see the true form of the thing. Just a little bit, you just see a reflection. And then you have the thickest covering is the womb. You know, unless you know what species, you don't know what's there. You don't know if it's a girl or a boy. You know, so the womb, the belly, you can't see at all. So it's, and also the child within the womb neither can see or can they move. And so that's compared to plant life. Plant life, we're conscious in plant life, but where consciousness is very stunted, very slow and stunted. And you can't travel. You can't, I want to go over there. I don't like this spot. You can just kind of stretch your arms out, but you can't transport yourself. And so the animal life is compared to the mirror covered by dust. There's more freedom there. You can actually, the form is, it's almost useful. Dusty mirror is almost useful, but not really. It's the fire covered by smoke. That's human life. So human life, what can you do in human life that you can't do in animal life? Is have a Zoom class with Grug and Nishta and Dana K. You can't do that as an animal. You can't ask these questions. You don't have that intelligence to be self-reflective. And so it is desire that's creating that kind of illusion curtain. And so it says 39, the wise living entity's pure consciousness becomes covered by his eternal enemy in the form of lust, which is never satisfied and burns like fire. So like if you have a desire, the best thing to do is just give your desire whatever it wants, correct? You know, if you give your desire whatever it wants, it's satisfied.
Mhm.
But we also fall into the trap, right? Like, okay, I fulfill it, so then I want
If you have
more.
a fire,
Yeah.
you have a fire, the best thing to do is you just douse it with a bunch of gasoline if it's bothering you. If you have a desire, it's never satisfied. It's like you itch, the more you itch it, and it just gets itchier. And so Krishna's calling this an eternal enemy. So if you're dealing with an enemy, you want to have a kind of a strategy. Okay, where's the enemy located? How many weapons do they have? How are they? What are my weaknesses? How can they get me? So the next verse says, the senses, the mind, and the intelligence are the sitting places of this desire. And through lust or through desire, through them, lust covers the real knowledge of a living entity and bewilders them. And then our Krishna says, the very beginning of curb this great symbol of sin by regulating the senses. So that's why we do things that we don't just have intoxication, adultery, animal eating, and gambling, because actually it doesn't satisfy the self. It makes the person more and more covered, more and more bewildered, more and more dissatisfied. There's Vikshik Atmika Klesh and Arvarnatmika Klesh. These are two wrestling moves of Maya. Like we're talking about here, are an enemy that we're fighting. And so these are the two wrestling moves. One wrestling move is that she takes her curtain and she covers you with it. And then she pulls you down deeper into ignorance. So sometimes you're like, you feel like you've got yourself in a big dark well. You're like, man, how did I get down here? So this is one of her moves. Puts the living entity into illusion and drags him down further. So how do we deal with it? Krishna says, we regulate it. And then he gives some clarity why we do that. So he says the working senses are superior to dull matter. Matter, the mind, is higher than the senses. So you have matter, then you have the senses, then you have the mind. And intelligence is higher than the mind. And then he, the soul, is higher than the intelligence. So, what's the famous example of the senses, the mind, the intelligence, and the soul? Who knows the example of that one? Who knows that example?
I'm lost on this one.
Famous example. Dana Kane, you got it?
Nope.
Okay.
When you're like famous, like, oh, I should know it, but I don't.
It's the example of the ancient Uber called the horse carriage, driven by 5 horses. And these 5 horses are the 5 senses. but they're called unbridled horses, meaning they're very strong.
Yeah.
And what's holding the horses is the mind. The senses just see something. Cheesecake, blueberry cheesecake. But the mind says, you like blueberry cheesecake. You like it. And then there's the intelligence. So the mind is the reins. The mind's what is actually giving that input.
It's like the driving force of this. Like, go do it.
Well, the senses see, and the mind is following along the direction. And then
The
you
mind's
have
the troublemaker.
yeah. And then you got something pulling the mind also is the driver. The horses are pulling this way, and the driver is pulling that way. The driver is the intelligence. Now, what happens if you have a sick driver? Very weak. 5 powerful horses.
They get torn apart.
It's going to go different directions.
Yeah.
One horse, so I want to go that way. Actually, the Mahabharata gives an example how 5 senses led a living entity to its destruction. So one of them is the bumblebee. The bumblebee, like we're talking about one of these giant Indian bumblebees, these really big ones that can actually bore holes into trees. Big fuzzy black ones, Sometimes the scientists will say statements like, how can this thing fly? Its wings are too small, its body's too big. Doesn't make any sense. There's even some mystical people out there that say it's some type of form of vibration. Okay, we'll not get into that. They talk about levitation and saying it's not possible. It can't fly with those little wings and its weight. It's doing something else, and the wings are just to give direction. But this bumblebee, it loves the smell of lotus. So when it goes into the lotus, so loves it, rolls around, and it doesn't like it stays there, intoxicated like that. And then at night, the lotus closes its petals. Now, those petals are actually quite delicate, but due to that strong attraction, the bumblebee doesn't leave. And therefore, sometimes when you open in the morning, there's a dead bumblebee. So that was a sense of smell. How do you catch an elephant? One way people would catch elephants is they would make some kind of model of a she-elephant statue. And they would put it right in front of a pit. The poor elephant would go, want to touch the she-elephant and get caught. That's how they capture a wild elephant. Okay, so that is the sense of touch. Now, who finds himself in a horrible situation due to the sense of taste? You tell me.
Humans.
So true.
Is that a fish?
The fish, yeah. It goes for the bait on the hook.
Mhm.
Yeah. Sense of taste. Then there's another animal, not animal. There's something that gets destroyed because of the sense of sight. And that is the moth. goes towards the fire. That attraction leads him right to be destroyed, right into the fire. And how does the hunter catch the deer? With his flute. They like the music. You've seen probably videos of cows and stuff. They love music. There's that famous video of a guy playing a trumpet over like this big field, and some 40, 50 cows start running over, and eventually they just surround him. And he's like, "Bup, bup, bup," and they just love it. They're just really interested in the music. They come running from far, far away. You just see this empty field, and then you see a little black dot running, and then it's pretty much he's got like 40, 50, 70 cows surrounding him.
Yeah, you just remind me. There's this video on the internet. I'm not sure if they're from Holland or from Switzerland. It's Europe, somewhere in Europe. This shepherd, they created a sort of language, sung language, like they sing, and they tell cows through singing.
Wow, they understand some communication.
Yeah, they get it. So they give commands and cows follow, no problem, because the music is so beautiful. They just singing, and they develop these.
Sounds like Krishna.
Yeah, definitely. When I hear that, I was like, wow, like I saw it and I was like, I can't believe it, because they were like they created a relationship with the cow herd. Like it's not just like the cows gotta like you to follow you.
Yeah.
It's not just like, oh, I'll follow this guy because his music is nice. It's just a lot.
Actually, I heard from Atma Rama Prabhu that a cow will not like an evil person, a badly behaved person. And that's actually one way that if in the Vedas it's described, if a Brahmana behaves not Brahminical, he has to do some austerities, and then after some time he has to live with cows, and after some in disguise, he has to live with cows without them noticing. And then when they see him after like a year of time, or certain, maybe even longer, if they come to him very close and willingly, like they come and feel comfortable with him, then they said then they're considered like reinstating his Brahminical status. Because a Brahmana is supposed to be a Dhamma Shanta, very peaceful, sense control, not supposed to behave in an evil way. And you'll see like the cows that are sent to slaughter, they're all very fearful because they're surrounded by such bad characters. And don't have soft hearts, not seeing what they're doing. So we covered the taste. Now in this Mahabharata, it says the impulses of all those senses are very strong. So all the senses can lead us to destruction. Sight, smell, taste, all those can lead us to become bewildered and astray. And therefore, we have these 4 principles. Granganesh, you're raising your hand. You want to? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I wanted to know, is that due to the level of consciousness? It's like, because, we are kind of trapped. Animals got it a lot simpler. They just got to survive, but we can make choices, right?
Yeah.
Since that happened, it's a lot more complex to us to survive in this, because more things happens and we get aware of these things, like things we're not supposed to naturally incline for, like drugs and other stuff, right? But we do. It gets more complex, right? We get more trapped.
Oh, so it's like we're given this really expensive device, a Mac Pro, some very crazy expensive, $5,000, $8,000 computer. And then we use it to like hammer nails on the wall, or we do all kinds of. Then Mother Nature's like, no, this person shouldn't get a human life again. They're gonna have to wait again. They just wasted it. If you want to mate, you can. There's this joke. This guy is writing. This guy. The ghosts are this lady goes to a psychic, and she contacts her husband, and he says, she says, how are you? He says, I'm fantastic. I'm eating organic food. I'm running naked through the forest, and I'm having a lot of sex and just drinking water straight from the river. He says, are you in heaven? He said, no, I'm a rabbit in Wisconsin. So all kinds of species. I look at the human body. So much variety. Nobody looks the same. So much variety, so much different talents and facilities. And so, like we said, the ocean as our ink, the sky as our canvas, and we write out our desires and we can't finish. You can just see, look at all the variety. If we all had one same desire, we would practically all look the same. But we're taking birth according to the desires of our past life and the deeds of our past life. Karma and karma. What we deserve and what we desire. We get particular situation in relation to that. And it's kind of like a bee takes honey from different plants, takes nectar, and it creates a particular sense of flavor. So similarly, we do so many things from different lives, and then that accumulates into this life, gives us a particular type of body. Like Mozart, he was able to compose symphonies at the age of 4. So what was he interested in his past life? Very clear. Very, very clear. Past life desire gave him a body, able to. He had not only the desire, super intense desire, but he also had the karma to see that desire manifest in a more extreme way. Like I was playing the harmonium. I felt like, man, I'm so rusty on this. I'm messing up so many times. So I have some desire, and Krishna gives me a certain degree of what I wanted, but it's only according to also what I deserve. It's just like if you want to fly to Chicago, depending on the credit limit, it could be Spirit Airlines, or it could be a private jet. Depends on what kind of credit you have, what kind of bank account you have. So the example here is that the 5 senses, the horses, the reins, the mind, the driver is the intelligence. And who's sitting next to the driver? Tana K?
Who's sitting next to?
The driver.
Maybe it's the navigator.
And he's known as the, in the analogy, any guess? Graganisha knows it.
Yeah, I think it's Paramatma next to the, is it, or the mind?
The soul.
Yeah, oh, sorry, the soul.
The soul.
Perfect.
So your intelligence is driving your vehicle, but you're the navigator. You're the one saying, I want to go there. But if your intelligence, if your driver is weak, he can't actually tell the mind to stop just following the senses. And the horses decide where you go, not the this Uber is supposed to go where the passenger wants to go, where the navigator is planning to go. That's where the Uber is supposed to go. But here you got 5 horses that are saying, let's go this way. So the person, the navigator, the passenger, he ends up feeling disappointed. The horses, the senses get what they want. And the mind follows the senses, but the person who is actually in the vehicle is unsatisfied. So we do need the help of, like Krishna was the charioteer of Arjuna. So if we have not just super soul, we have Krishna himself grab the reins. That spiritual intelligence. Krishna's arms are very strong. And Arjuna is even known as Bahushaka, mighty arms. Krishna is even more. He's the one who can be the expert charioteer, Partha Sarati. So we can direct our mind and direct our senses. No, horse, you go there. You want to go there, but this is what I want. You know, the eye see the blueberry cheesecake. The mind says, yes, I like cheesecake. But the intelligence says, you've had 7 slices and you have diabetes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So intelligence needs to kick in. Now the mind has a certain quality that if it's something that we are actually attached to, then the mind has its own sense of force. So if we become attached to Krishna, then our mind will take us to Krishna. Otherwise, we have to use our intelligence and move our mind back to Krishna constantly. But like Ganganesha says, we don't actually try to stop desire. We just place it in Krishna because Krishna is all attractive. The last verse, he says, knowing oneself to be transcendental to the material senses, mind, and intelligence, oh, mighty arm Arjuna, one should steady the mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence, Krishna consciousness, and thus by spiritual strength, conquer this insatiable enemy known as lust. And that's the end of the chapter. Any reflections? Anything you want to ask, Dana K?
No, this was very fitting. Very good. I want Krishna to take the reins.
Krishna takes the rein, please.
I like that.
Here, let me show you. Let's see if I can show you something on here. We say Krishna. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull this up. Okay, Krishna, please do this.
Yes.
He's got a nice lotus flower covered in like pond slime.
Right.
Pull that pond slime off me, please. Let me blossom. Graganishta, anything you want to share, or any?
Yeah, I think that I remember the other analogy was like the computer, the user, the software, and the keyboard, the speaker, the monitor, like the I don't remember the other. The mouse,
the webcam. The webcam.
The webcam.
Yeah. Microphone.
Yeah. And then the software was the mind, and then the user was the soul, right? Was it like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing I wanted to add was that my Guru Maharaj mentioned once, like he said, all the time you hear all these health oriented people like, you are what you eat, you are what you eat, he says, right? But he says, but we are not one sense, we're 5 senses. So you're not only what you eat, you are what you absorb. And by that, it means your 5 senses, what you give to them, you will become and you will desire. So if you desire Krishna, I mean, so if you hear Krishna, if you see Krishna, if you taste prasad, right, you will want that, right? But if you don't, if you go and watch, whatever movie, and then you talk just nonsense, and then you listen nonsense, you will desire those things eventually. So you are not only what you eat, you are what you absorb.
You
And
said you will desire those things eventually. So that reminds
yeah.
me of Maya's cover and then pull down. And so you're like, why do I desire this? How did I get here? She pulled you. You're like, oh man.
Yeah,
So
and
good.
you probably enjoy that place, right? That pit at the beginning, like, until you
Yeah.
uncover all, and you're like, okay, what I'm doing here? Oh, okay. I mean, you got there. It was you who put you there, right? Nobody else. Nobody, forced you, right?
Yeah.
You got there by yourself, your own means. I am trying to like I am trying to shut up more nowadays. Sorry for the word, and listen more. I am trying to exercise that. Before Krishna consciousness, I talked too much all the time.
Now you can talk about Krishna.
I do. I actually experienced something super meaningful in my life. A couple of days ago, Yamuna Tira, I met her back in Chile many, like 2 years ago, I think. She was with a group of people traveling around, and she was like, yeah, I like Krishna consciousness, but yeah, I don't think it's for me, and all that kind of stuff. This group of people spent about 2 weeks in a farm. And she just wrote me a couple of days ago. She's married to a devotee. She got initiated in Hawaii. Her name now is Yamuna Tira Devidasi. And I'm like, wow. Like I truly never thought she would. She just said like, oh, I'm thankful for all the chat we had. And I thought it was the first time in my life that all the talk I did, it was about Krishna. and she got married, and I'm happy. I mean, I never thought she would do. She's from Australia. She's living in Hawaii. They're moving to New Orleans. I don't know. I don't know. It was super crazy. Like, it made me so happy. It's the first time what I did, it helped someone. Well, it's not me. I mean, Krishna through me, right? Saying, okay, this is the right time. But I'm like, it never happened before, and I don't know. It was so beautiful. I was so surprised. Her gurus. I don't remember her. I think she wrote it here. I'll just say that, and I'll just Kedarnath Das Baba, I think, from Hawaii, from Oahu, could be.
I'm from Oahu.
I know. No, it's not from Oahu. No. They live in Shanti Mandir. I don't know that. You know the place, Prabhu?
No, I haven't been there a long time. One of my old friends also. One time I was at the temple. This is before I lived in the temple. And my old friend, like I'd known her since she was 13. And she walked into the Sunday feast. I was like, hey, you're doing here. And then when I was in Hawaii, there was a devotee who would take me to see his friend's band. And one of those guys also showed up at the Sunday feast too. And both of them became initiated devotees practicing. These are people I knew from like in the past.
That's so beautiful.
Thank you,
I
Prabhu.
never. Yeah.
I think we're gonna head out now.
Yeah. I thought I'll never become a Krishna devotee. I never thought I will get initiated. I never thought I'll follow spiritual path. And get here now. Thank you for that.
All glories to all the devotees and your Guru Maharaj and all the devotees who inspired you in your life and brought you to this place in your life. And
That's
all
a
glories to
good
Dana Kay coming to join us.
Thank you. That was amazing. It really lifts me up. So thank you.
Okay, well, glad to have you here. Well, we'll stop here. Om Tat Sat. Thanks a lot. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.